Oh, hello there. Welcome. So nice of you to join us. My name is Painty Boy J-licious and I make paintings and drawings and other things. Tonight I want to tell you a little bedtime story. But be wary. Things might get a little scary.
The little boy that should.
A very common piece of advice that will be given to young artists trying to become professionals in their fields is that they should find their niche and find their own style. There's nothing wrong with this advice, it's an interesting concept to play with. But any piece of knowledge comes with its
Dangers.
This is the story of how I, as a young, ambitious, but gullible art student, took this piece of advice and turned it into a bunch of
Bad habits.
that I have to be weary of,
To this day.
and maybe even a few.
Wasted opportunities.
When I started out in art school, I was convinced that I wanted to become an illustrator and I wanted to become it fast. I think me and a lot of classmates of mine were very ambitious, very eager to start making art professionally. And one of the things that I knew helped you stand out was having your own art style. One day, I discovered the wonderful world of 60s underground comics and Robert Crumb, Spain Rodriguez, and all those other great illustrators. I loved it so much and I really wanted to draw like this. So that's what I tried to do. I tried to draw a little bit like Robert Crumb and his peers. But what I didn't suspect was that this and a bunch of other coincidences
Would permanently alter my brain.
I noticed nobody else in my class was drawing this way. I had found a way to stand out a little bit more in the classroom. Some people outside of the classroom started to notice what I was doing and started saying, "Oh, good job, that's a nice drawing." And I got my first art commission around this time. This made me think, could it be that I had already found my art style? My first time trying to draw in an art style and I've already nailed it? I felt great. I knew what to do now. I didn't have to look for anything else anymore. I could just keep on drawing in this style for the rest of my life. And I was gonna be a successful artist. For a while, this worked out great. I kept drawing in the same way and I got better at it. And I got more art commissions. And people said, "Wow, good job, my little PJ boy. You're really turning into a professional illustrator." Until that fateful day. For the record, this didn't just happen in one day. I'm doing this for dramatic purposes, but you probably knew because you're so smart. On that day, I decided, you know what? I'm getting kind of sick of always drawing the same way. I have some time left. I'm gonna draw with something else now. Maybe even for fun, I might try drawing something in another style. But when I took out my sketchbook and tried drawing this other way, a new feeling dawned on me. I felt
Guilty.
a little voice came into my head.
What are you doing? You don't know how to draw like this. You want to be an amateur again? You're wasting your time. You're a professional now. You gotta keep hustling. You gotta keep hustling. And what if you unlearn how to draw the other way? If you want to stay a professional, you have to keep drawing the way you've been drawing. And you've got to draw like that until you die. That's what you should do.
And at that moment, I became
The little boy that should.
the little boy, the little boy, the little boy that should. The little boy, the little boy that should. The little boy, the little boy that should. The weeks that followed this dreadful day, I started drawing less and less and less. I was sick of drawing the way I did, but drawing any other way also felt really bad to me. I shouldn't be drawing like this, I said to myself. At some point, the only time I drew was because I had to for commissions and other things, but I never drew in my spare time anymore. And I finished these commissions slower and slower, moving up the deadlines because I hated drawing the way I was drawing. So eventually I came to the conclusion, maybe I'm not cut out to be a professional artist. I don't like drawing enough, apparently. This really doesn't feel like my dream job. And then I heard another voice.
Hey dipshit, you love making art. You just don't like the art you think you should be making. And the only person telling you you should be making art like this is you.
And not long after that voice told me I was being a little dipshit, I went from being the little boy that should to the little boy that could. As you may expect, as a reaction to having wasted my time being the little boy that should, and went the complete opposite way, trying out new things every day and not really sticking to anything, which was also not the greatest idea, but a very normal reaction, I think. What I think an art style is something that you can look for, but you won't find it. It should evolve with you. In the best case scenario, it shows off what you've been through as a person, what you like, what you dislike. And it flows out naturally, and you don't have to think about it. When someone says they think they found their art style, I get a little weary. And that's because every once in a while, when I make a drawing that I notice gets a lot of attention, maybe people say, "Good job, man. I'd like to see more of that." And then I start trying to do something else. I notice I start to feel guilty again. The little boy that should is still part of me. And if he tries to speak up again, I have to remind myself of where he got me. And that's the only place I'm gonna get if I become the little boy that should again. I wanted to make sure that I add that this might be a problem that's very specific to me. I've come to understand that the reason I had such a big problem with sticking to one thing and not being able to experiment is because I like art mostly as a way of escaping the real world. And sticking to one particular art style so you'll be able to sell your art better is a big compromise that you're making with the real world. And because the real world is so involved in that decision, it took a lot of the fun out of art for me. But some people might have other reasons why they like the art they're making, and they might be very happy to make these kinds of compromises if it means that they can live off their art and keep making it forever. This video is mostly for the people who might be in the position I was a couple years ago, and to say to them, you're not alone. You don't have to make this compromise to make a living off your art. There are other ways. And it's not fun to have to go back to the drawing board and rethink your strategy on how you're gonna become the artist you wanna be. But it's way better than quitting art. If you're still watching, thank you for sticking around. I hope this helped some people, and if it doesn't help, I hope it's because you're doing awesome. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next time.